Welcome to Gotta Know Joe Hobbies here in Spring, Texas. And man, the shop is a mess, but I've been messing around with a bunch of this old boat stuff. And the cool thing about old boat stuff is the guys that were real fast 20 years ago would still be fast today because they figured out how to make two strokes hull buns a long time ago. I'm going to show you a couple of engines that I found, a couple of different tools that I found that are really cool. Uh, dig this. So this is a snapper. Look at that right there, a snapper. And this was at one time a weed eater. Back in the day, we didn't have RC motors being thrown out of Zenoa left and right for us to put in our RC boats and airplanes and stuff. So, we would go down and find things and make engines. The Brysons, the Sachs, all that stuff, man, those were, repurposed. Here's another weed whacker. Now, these here come from a company called Trick Engines. And Trick Engines, I spoke to the widow. Oh, where's the other one at? I spoke to the widow of the man that owned one or owned this company, and she told me just a fascinating story. Where's another one at? Is that another? Yeah, here's a full mod. There's a full mod Trick engine. Look at the porting in there. You can see the work has just been gone after on this thing. And but she told me a really cool story. So every time a shipment would come in with these weed eaters, her husband would go to the bank and get a bunch of money, and he would go and rip all of them off their shelves and put them in the back of his truck. He would go around and systematically take all the weed eaters or anything that had a small engine he could use and throw it back in the truck, and then he'd come home and tear everything apart, throw all the parts away he didn't use. They would use the weed whacker cable, the weed eater cable, use that for flex shaft. And then he would get out there and start grinding. And she said he'd be standing in 6 inches of a pile of aluminum from grinding, the ports and the inside of the cylinders on these engines. So, after all that, went down, then people started making their own CNC. Now this is J&G here, 100%. These are screaming motors, man. I don't have two hands to pull. I don't like the mount on this thing. Makes this engine look ugly, but this thing sure is beautiful. I've got a few engines from J&G. Let's see here. I think I had shown. There's one after Zenoa had came out, and then they started selling the chrome, deals. What do we got here? That was more a traditional stock looking Zenoa, but all of these have had a lot of work done to them. I don't see that other one. Anyway, but maybe it was right here. Yeah. Let's see. You can start putting pretty stuff on them, But pretty doesn't make for a fast boat. That old ugly weed eater looking motor back there, now I hadn't ran these, but that one could theoretically be as fast or not, or faster than this one here. Now that one's going to weigh a little bit more, but it's all in the meat which goes down. Let's see here. I got an example here. Here's a guy that was an extreme full mod. Now looking here. Now see, now we've got CNC, and this one here is clearly not finished. This one hasn't been polished yet, but this one's been cut to hell. To be honest with you, I don't know. The thing about these is that you can cut and cut and cut, and you can go just a little bit too far, and your engine will run better, and then it won't run hardly at all. But this one's been really, really worked on. And one other thing I'll show you that's kind of neat if you've never seen it. But the reason why I think this one here just needs to be polished out, because there's also notes that came with this here. It says careful. The gasket needs to be matched to the cylinder. So, you know, you got to check your squish, baby. And that's the measurement, or in between the top of the piston and the bottom of your plug. Let me show you this here. So you see all them little divots in there. These are all little lightning divots, and I don't know. There's a hole right here, not the big one, but this little one here. I'm pretty sure that's not for lightening the piston. I think that does something in the exhaust or intake portion of one of the strokes. I've never seen or noticed it before. I may have seen it before and just not noticed it. But look, see, they'll even cut away all of that, just anything to lighten up just a little bit more and a little bit more. And the lighter they can get it, the less centrifugal weight it has, and you know, the faster it'll grab them RPMs. But this is, and here's another one. Here's another engine. I don't know who made this. This is a piston. I mean, this isn't a piston port here. This is a reed valve. You can tell the difference between a reed valve motor and a piston port. Okay, so here's your exhaust over here. And on the majority of RC airplanes, RC boats, you know, you're going to see a carburetor up here on the other side of the piston here, or on the other side of the jug. If you notice, the carburetor is down here on the case, and that means it's a reed valve. So it sucks its fuel down here through the case, and then it comes up. So I don't want to get deep into that, because you can talk for hours and hours and hours and hours about all that stuff. But look at what I found. I've never seen one of these. I had no idea what it was. It was all separate in these bags, and just by looking at it, without instructions or anything, I went ahead, I stuck it together just the way it's supposed to go. And then when I went and looked it up, I said, oh, okay, well, this is what this does. But all of these threads here were all the same. And somebody made, let me show you this here. It's really cool. Somebody made this in their shop, or, you know, might have been a sophisticated shop, and then they sell these as a tool. And this one here is particular one's made by a company. That's why I got this out here. Voodoo Props. So that's a stainless bolt with a ball bearing on it, and then that thing is welded and polished and cleaned. And anyway, so that goes there. It's going to be hard to do with one hand on the camera. So let's see here. This is a, I don't know if they call them blanks. I'm not sure about all the nomenclature with this stuff. I don't want to get it wrong. But this, if you notice how this has got a curve to it. And this is the pitch. This is the pitch of the prop. Just like a airplane prop, but, you know, a little bit different of a right angle. And if you have a full-scale boat, and you've ever had any prop work done, you know, sometimes you can get them double cupped or whatever. Well, let me show you what that means, and that's what this tool is. This is a prop cupper, or a prop cupping tool. So here's one that's been worked on and balanced and everything. If you look at the back side of this here, okay, so this is your leading edge up here, and that's your trailing edge, and this is the one the water comes off of. I'm sorry, leading edge and then the trailing edge, and that's where your water comes off of. So this thing is going to spin like this here, and it's going to push the boat this way, right? So when that water comes off of there, what this tool here does is it puts that last little cup. If you look down the edge of that, you see how it kind of cups over from this way down that way, and that's what this tool's for. Here, maybe you might be able to see it on this aluminum one a little bit better. You see how it's got a real smooth transition. Then when it gets right here to the edge, right here, you can kind of see where it kind of cups over, right? So how this works, let me swap hands here. This thing goes on, and I don't know exactly how it works, but I have a pretty good idea. You got different size balls for different size cupping, and you get this prop. Hold on a sec, let me. And you've got to tighten all this down, and you get a little hammer, and you tap, and you start cupping that prop all the way around. And it may start up here and rotate like this. I'm not sure exactly. Like I said, I've never used one. This is the first time I've ever seen one of these tools. I just thought it was cool as hell. And this thing weighs, geez, man, that thing weighs about the weight of 10 Big Macs. This screws in. It's got a little collet so you can change your height. But if you want to find out more, it's about a $100 tool. A little under, but it's Voodoo Props, and they hats off to them guys. They make a damn good looking tool. I was really impressed with it. I'm gonna put it back in the bag and sell it and try to make enough money so I can go buy a cookie or something. But we've got all kinds of out drives, and through holes, and look at this here, man. Here's a rudder somebody had built on an old boat. Trim tabs, we got them in aluminum, plastic, we got them in stainless steel. There's some crazy stuff here, man. These are all like OPS 3.5 boat parts. Extremely rare stuff. There is a motor, I'll show you, and then I'm gonna shut this thing off and we're gonna call it quits for this. But I've never seen, well, I never want to say I've never seen one, but I've never seen one and knew what I was looking at if I did. But this thing is called a, where is that not the paperwork for it? Where is that here? And now that I want to look at it, piston. There it is right there. MTL 35 Magnum Power. It's a whole complete engine here. Looks like it just got back from my machine shop, but it's still in the box. And of course, we've got all them pipes and everything. But anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you. Got to know Joe Hobbies here in Spring, Texas. There was also, and I don't know exactly where they're at right now. I'd show them to you, but there's all these pitch dial indicators, so you can read the pitch on all this stuff too, which some of them tools are homemade, and maybe I'll do a video and show them. Y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later. We can help you out. Give us a call. Take it easy. Bye.